Hello, it's Jesse here, and we got the 79 out right now. We're gonna plan on going for a test ride on it. It's nice outside, but first off, we're gonna look back at talking about this. A while back, we did a segment on switching out the carburetors to the Mark II and taking off the AMAL Mark Ones, and well, we had some questions since that video has been posted about jetting and how we have the carburetor set up and what is the best jet set to run and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about that stuff. But yeah, so hang around here and we will get to that. So here's a set of AMAL Mark IIs, a spare set we have that we've had laying around. Anyways, we got them kind of torn apart so we can talk about the particulars about this style carburetor. So anyway, go ahead and explain some of this stuff.
Okay, well, there's two styles of jetting that everybody refers to. One is what they refer to as US EPA, and then there's one that they refer to as being the European jetting. The European takes a different needle jet, and you got to take out this little jet that's right in the middle here. They call it a top hat, but it's actually called an air jet. You got to remove these two screws, pull this off, and pull that out. And by the way, these air jets are in these carburetors. And you can see it down in there. It's got but this piece that's out here, this ring, holds that little jet in place. And so anyway, it takes a different needle. It's shorter, and they put a different slide, and you know it's a bunch of little parts that are different. Now I've got all those parts, and I've tried those parts. I can't get my bike to run nice. It runs wonderful with all these parts that kind of came with it. There's only one change that I made, and I changed from a stainless 105 needle jet to a 106 needle jet, and it's got to have the ring in it because it's got to be for Mark II. And I use
the ring he's talking about is that little groove.
There's a little groove right here.
Yep.
It's got to have that. If it doesn't have that, it goes to a Mark I, and it's shorter and it's different.
Okay.
I use the original jet, the original needle, and it's a, oh God, what's the number on that? You got it sometime. 2C3. So it's a 2C3, but it's the original jet or needle that came with it. I always use it in the middle. There's only three slots, and I keep it in the middle.
Yeah, the three different
works
slots
fine there. And
there we go. Now we can see it.
Okay. And as far as jetting goes for the idle circuit, there is two different locations. There is a blanking plug that goes there. If you take this blanking plug out, you have to put a jet in its place. Then you put the blanking plug in the bowl. But this is the way it works best. You leave the blanking plug in the carburetor, you put the jet in the bowl. And the jet that we're using is a 25 for the idle jet. And the choke jet goes way down in this little hole. It's way down inside of there. And I use the factory jet, the 50, because I've tried 30s, I've tried 35s, I've tried all the way up to 45. Only the 50 starts first kick every time. So I stick with the 50.
Yeah, there's a certain procedure to start a Mark II as well, because he's probably going to get to that, but I'll just jump ahead here, I guess. They don't have a tickler on the Mark II. They got away with that because of emissions, because gas leaking out of the carb. Long story short, they got rid of the tickler, the primer. So instead, you use an enricher system, which, you know, like to choke, but they actually call it an enricher. and you set the choke. Don't touch the gas. We'll go over that when we get to starting it, but don't touch the gas, because if you do, it defeats the purpose of the enricher, and then it shuts it off, actually, and you'll have a harder time starting it. Right?
Yes. How the enricher works is there's a hole right on the side here. You see that hole there?
Yeah, I think we can see it.
And what happens is, in order for the enrichers to work, this slide has to be all the way down. Okay? If you raise it up, now air can go through there, and it won't go through there, sucking gas up through the enrichers. So instead, you won't get no gas, and you'll just kick and kick and kick and kick, and it won't start.
I mean, maybe eventually it would, but
if you get real lucky, maybe. You'll be tired first. But when you keep these down flat, then when the valve's open and the piston goes down and makes a suck, it sucks gas and air in through those big holes, and that's what starts your carburetor. And then you open your enrichers like this, and it'll run off of that until it warms up a little bit, but you don't leave it on too long either, because it'll follow plugs. So after a short time, you close them. And then once they're closed, this is the manual kind with the lever. I like the handlebar one better. And but it's just personal. These work just fine.
We have the handlebar one set up on the 79 anyway, but
yes,
that's what the manual one and the carb setup looks like.
Right, and that's so. And the main jet is still what it should be from factory. Actually, it's 200. Well, if it isn't, maybe it was 190. I don't know, but I run between 200 and 210s. It just depends upon where you live and what exhaust system you're running. So you got to change some of these things if you run a different exhaust system.
Yeah, like if it's more open than
yes,
factory.
If it's open, then you'll need more gas, and because it breathes better. So then it'll. Now the other thing we use is we use a stay up float. I don't like the plastic ones. I just love these new floats because you can adjust them real easy, and I like the aluminum. Rubber Viton tip needles too, because they're nice and light, so it just works really good. And these floats in a Mark II, they work best if when this is closed, it's level all the way across. Now not flush with the top. This plane and this plane is level. Or parallel to each other. And so there it is, see? It's parallel. It sticks out a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's parallel.
Right.
It shouldn't be, I turn them upside down because it's easiest.
To see it,
and it shouldn't be just down a little bit or way up high. Because if it gets up too high, then it hits up there. But there's a lot of room up here on these. So you don't have to worry about it being a little bit high.
What if the AMAL Mark I is high, then it leaks?
Oh, yeah, it leaks right away. It won't. Right. So, now let's put that back together.
Yeah, lots of interesting stuff there. Yeah.
They call it the so-called EPA jetting, but I don't know. I like it. It works really good. My bike is flawless on my highway. It has wonderful power, and it just accelerates really well. It doesn't have any flat spots, no dead spots.
It definitely did before. Well, it did at one time, and then we changed them out to this one, and we're going to go run it again and check them out, see how it runs this time, but this spring. But since we did this change out, yeah, we're going to check it out. So maybe we can relive it running good.
Well,
all right.
We can put all this together later.
All right, so we're gonna start this up. So this is the 79 Bonneville, right? So it's got the Mark IIs on it. No primer or tickler on the carburetors. And like we were just saying, I'm gonna run through the procedure of starting this thing up and see if it fires up. So turn the fuel on. I'm gonna set the Enrichment here, engage it all the way. It's either on or off. I mean, it's how it is. And then turn the key on, of course, it's up here. And then got our neutral light and everything. So what I like to do is, before I start it up, is to keep myself from touching the gas, I'm gonna grab onto this part here just to hold it, stabilize it, and see if it fires up.
Stay running until it's warm.
Sure.
But you don't want to leave the choke on too long.
Right. So now we're going to take it out for a little spin, I think. So we'll get this out of here. neutral easy. All right, well, that was a pretty good ride. Ran really nice. I also, when we were, one of the other segments on this bike, we did the clutch and making that cush drive dampener system. Redid all that too with the little rubbers and stuff in the dampener on the 7-plate system and the clutch. The engage is really nice and smooth and very soft, easy to use. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited how it ran. So I mean, anyway. So anyway, I think we're pretty much done with this bike. I think it's going to be a good running bike, pretty much a daily rider. So anything else we want to talk about it? I think the carb works really well. Wait, we got it set up, and that, like I said, that clutch works really well too. So I highly suggest getting a 7 disc system, and then. Yeah, and setting up your Mark IIs kind of like how we did ours. I mean, we live in the center of the country of the United States, so I mean that's kind of like the perfect setting for us here in Iowa. So anyway, we'll see you again soon. We've got some more stuff coming up, so stick around, and we'll see you in a different video sometime.